Hello everyone, welcome back to ACE Exams. This is Maath Alabdali, and today I'll introduce you to A-level trigonometry. Um, so, so this is a picture of the unit circle. This is the sine graph, cos graph, and the tan graph. Now, the first thing you have to do is imagine there is a triangle inside a circle. Okay? So, imagine this is theta. This is x, this is y, and this is going to be 1 because it's the radius, it's the unit circle. So, we know from GCSE, so sine of theta is going to equal to opposite, which is y, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 1. So sine of theta is 1. Cos of theta is adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is x divided by 1, so it's basically x. And tan of theta is opposite divided by adjacent, so it's basically y divided by x. Then you can conclude that tan of theta is basically sine of theta divided by cos of theta. So this is like the beginning of trigonometry. So before I go into depth, imagine the theta is 0. Now, if you look in here, I'm gonna just do this with a blue pen. So if you look in here, if theta is 0, then sine of 0 is going to be 0. Sine of 90 is going to be 1. Okay? Sine of, so this is 90, this is another 90, so sine of 180 is 0, and sine of 270 is going to be minus 1, and sine of 360 is back to 0. So basically, sine of 0 is basically equal to sine of 180, which is also equal to sine of 360, and it keeps on going on. You keep on adding 80, you still get the same value, 0. So let's say if it is cos, if it's not sine, if it's cos. So let's say theta is 0 again. So cos 0 is 1. Okay. Cos of 90 is 0. Cos of 180 is negative 1. Cos of 270 0. Cos of 360 is basically 1 again. Okay, so therefore we can conclude that cos of 0 is going to equal to cos of 360, and then if we keep on adding 360, cos of 720, and it keeps on going on. Now, even if I go backward, cos, if we do 0 minus 360, so it's also going to equal to cos of minus 360, which is equal to 1. So even if you go backward, you still get the same answer. Sorry, let me just make this clear. So sine of minus 180 sine minus 360. Okay, so this is basically the unit circle. Now, what if it tells you to find, for example, tan? Now, if we want to find the value of tan from the unit circle, all we have to do is do sine theta divided by cos theta. Okay, so this is just like an introduction to A-level trigonometry. I'm gonna explain the unit circle. Next, in the next slide, okay. So in this slide, I'm gonna show you an easier way to remember the values of sine of 30, 60, 45, and 90. So as well as the cos and tan. So the first step is you have to write down 0, 4, half, 3 over 4, and finally. Each a number, so yeah, 0 is going to represent 0. 1 over 4 is going to represent 30. Half is going to represent 6. No, half is going to represent 45. Sorry about that. 3 over 4 is going to represent 60, and 1 is going to represent 90 degrees. Okay, so for the sine theta, so sine of 0 is basically going to be square root of 0, which is 0. Okay, square root of 0. So sine of 30 is going to be square root of 1 over 4. So it's basically half. Um, Sine of half is going to be 1 over square root of 2. Square root of 3 over 4 is basically going to be square root of 3 divided by 2. And lastly, square root of 1 is 1. For cos theta, you just reverse it. So reverse this. So 1 square root of 3 over 2. If you rationalize this, you're going to get square root 2 over 2. Or you can leave it as 1 over square root of 2, as you like. This cos 60 is half, and cos of 90 is basically 0. Tan of theta, all you have to do is, as I mentioned last slide, it's basically sine divided by cos. So 0 divided by 1 is 1. Half divided by square root of 3 over 2 is basically square root of 3 over 3. 1 over square root of 2 divided by 1 over square root of 2 is 1. And finally, not finally, but almost finally, tan of 60 is basically square root of 3. And 1 divided by 0 is unidentified. If you saw the graph in the previous slide, you're going to see that the graph does not touch the axis when it is at 90, so it's going to remain high up. So okay, so this is the unit circle as I mentioned below. So I brought it back just to explain one more thing before I end this video. So imagine there's a triangle in here. There's another triangle in here. There's another triangle in here. And there's another right angle triangle in here. So this is, before I start, this is the first quadrant. You have to know this. It's GCSE stuff. Second quadrant. Third and fourth quadrant. Okay, so imagine this is X and this is Y. So as I mentioned previously, sine in here, sine of theta is basically y, because this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1. So sine is going to end up positive. Cos of theta is also going to end up positive because cos x in here, cos of theta is equal to x, and x in here is positive as well. Tan is basically sine divided by cos, both of them are positive, so it's going to give us positive value. In here it's negative x because it, it, it has gone to this side. So negative x, but y is still positive. So this means that sine is positive, but cos and tan are negative. Now, cos is negative because it's minus x, and tan is negative because positive divided by negative is negative. So this is negative. Y minus y in here, and then minus x in here. Okay, so in here sine is going to be negative, cos is also going to be negative. However, tan is going to be positive because negative divided by negative is positive. In here x is positive, y is negative, so in here sine is going to be negative, cos is going to be positive, and tan is going to be negative. So the way I remember this is by memorizing this four-word sentence. All silver teacups. Sorry. All silver tea. So this is the first, this is the second, this is the third, this is the fourth, and then I look at the first each word. So in here it's all, in here it's sine, in here just tan is positive, and in here just cos is positive. Okay, so I mentioned this because in the next video I'm going to talk about some questions where we have to use this, but for now I'm just going to give you one question. So it says in here, find sine of x and cos of x when tan of x is equal to negative 5/12, and the range is basically from 0 to 360, let's say. Okay, so first you have, just ignore the minus for now. First you have to draw a triangle. Tan is opposite divided by adjacent, so 5 in here, 12 in here, and square root of 5 squared plus 12 squared is basically 13, so the hypotenuse is 13 using Pythagoras theorem. I'm just going to write it just in case you get confused. And then we have to find sine of x. So sine of x is opposite over hypotenuse, so 5 divided by 13. I'm going to mention the symbols now, just let me write the numbers. So cos of x is basically opposite divided by adjacent, so 5, no, adjacent over hypotenuse, sorry, 12 divided by 13. Now in here it says that tan is negative, so if we know that tan is negative, it's going to have to be in this quadrant where tan is negative. So if tan is negative, cos is also going to be negative, and sine is going to be positive. Okay, now if it says tan is positive, then both of them are going to be positive. If it says that the range is from this is 0 to 180, not 360, sorry about that. If it says that the range is from 0 to if it says that the range is from 180 to 360, and tan is negative, then cos is going to be positive and sine is going to be negative. Sorry for confusing you. It's 0 over 180, not 360. Okay? In this question. So thank you very much for listening. See you in the next video. Make sure to stay safe and subscribe for more amazing videos. Bye.